Okay, here we go. So, we are continuing with the Holy Sefer Ma'arinayim, Parshat Eikev. Okay, truth is that we missed out on a ton last week because we did the energy of the month. So I don't know what's going to be with all of that missed Torah, but there's always next year. And this week, Parshat Eikev. So the Rebbe, the Chernobyler, has an amazing Torah. And this is something actually that I don't usually speak about. It's something that is a little bit. I won't call it spooky, but it's out there, and it's like basically we love to talk about Emunah. Like Emunah, I would say, is one of my favorite topics to talk about. And Emunah is my Emunah gets me through life, and Emunah is what it takes when things are tough to be able to get through. But the truth is that there's another step that we don't usually talk about, and that is bitachon. Okay, what is bitachon? Bitachon is trusting on Hashem. So Emunah is having your head screwed on straight. Like Emunah is having the understanding. Your God. I like to translate Emunah as opposed to faith. Faith is an inaccurate translation. Emunah is God consciousness, and the knowledge that everything is from God, the knowledge that everything is under control. So if everything's under control, so then you don't need to sweat. You don't need to be anxious. You don't need to be depressed. Everything has a purpose. Everything's gonna be okay. So don't get lost. Don't get overwhelmed. Like everything is okay. That's Emunah. Emunah is the philosophy of understanding that God is in control. So what's bitachon? Bitachon is trusting in Hashem. So bitachon is making it practical. Okay, and bitachon is that because you believe that everything is because of Hashem. So what exactly are you working so hard for? Okay, and this is something that like we don't usually talk about because like it seems to fly in the face of the concept of hishtadlus, of the fact that like you need to work hard, you need to make proper decisions, you need to do whatever it takes, and like bitachon has a danger to it that if a person is too in a bitachon mode, then they might just check out of life. They might just watch Netflix all day and say Hashem will take care of me. Okay, so we have to figure out exactly what the balance is. But first I want to speak of the idea. I want to share the Torah of the Chernobyl of bitachon, which is really connected to this week's parsha, and then we'll speak about the practical ramifications for us. So interestingly, he doesn't say what pasuk he's talking about. He just starts with the Gemara. And it says that the Gemara at the end of Tainus. The Gemara at the end of Tainus talks about rain. Okay, so the truth is that the connection is because the end of Parshat Eikev is the second parsha of Shema, and the second parsha of Shema. So it talks about that if you follow Hashem, then there's going to be rain, and if you don't follow Hashem, then there's not going to be rain. Okay, so this is what the Chernobyl is speaking about, that there's some reaction to rain being in heavens and coming down. Okay, so the Gemara says as follows: that what does it mean that sometimes Hashem will hold back the heavens? That when the heavens are holding back, it's similar to a woman who's barren, that isn't able to have birth, to have babies. Okay, so it says Nemer Leida Be'isha v'Nemer Leida B'Kshamin. So the Gemara says that the psukim use the same wording when it comes to rain coming down and when it comes to a baby coming into the world. It uses the word atzar, which means to hold back, both as a reference to not having rain and as a reference to not having children, and also uses the word lahalid, obviously by having kids, and it also says that that rains are lahalid, and this is actually in the Haftarah that we read on Tisha B'Av, that it says that the Hashem says that kasher yired hageshem v'hashelag min hashamayim, that just like the rain and the snow fall down from the sky, v'holida v'hitzmicha, and it comes down and it's v'holida, and it gives birth and it sprouts. So it talks about the rains also as a giving birth. Okay, so the Gemara equates rain to birth. Okay, so what is this? So what's this trying to say? So he starts with an interesting thing that v'nafkamina lispela atziras kshamim mizmar yadcha Hashem b'yam tzara. So he starts with a seemingly very very side note, and that is that the Gemara says that there's a mizmar Perek Chav in Tehillim that Yadcha Hashem b'yam tzara. So it says that this is a special skula to read this parak for somebody that's having a trouble with their birth or having trouble getting pregnant. So there's something special about this parak. Truth is, the stuff from Chavetz Chaim that in general it's a very special parak, that for anything that's going wrong. So if you say Perek Chav of Tehillim 3 times, so it has a very tremendous koch. And it's probably based on this idea that everything in the world, everything coming down, trickling down into the physical reality, is a sense of having birth. So, so it says that Yadcha Hashem b'yam tzara has a special skula for a woman that needs to give birth. That I don't know if it's on this or if it's on something else. That it says something about the 70, maybe the 70 words, and it's corresponding to the 70 shouts, 70 cries of a woman in childbirth. That apparently one of the sages, instead of davening, they were counting how many times their wife was screaming, and so I was asking for a friend. So his friend brought him to daven, and he was
We also use it this way: just scream 70 times and you're looking for it.
Amen. So there is a connection between Perek Chav of Tehillim, Yadcha Hashem b'yam tzara, and giving birth. So he says that if the Gemara equates giving birth to having rain, so then we can extrapolate from that if there's not rain, so it's a good idea to say Perek Chav of Tehillim. Okay? Meaning that it's that just like this chapter of Tehillim has a power to give forth that the power of birth should come down into the world, so too that the power of bringing rain into the world, it also has the power to bring down. Okay, so but he explains that really it's coming from a deeper thing. That when the Gemara is equating these two things, so what we're really saying is that everything in this world is really coming from a higher place and being brought forth into actualization in this world, and that's the most obvious when it comes to giving birth. That you had a soul, that the soul was in heaven, and it was hanging out in Hashem's holy throne, and from above it trickled down to be brought down into a physical body. Okay? And that's the act of giving birth, is bringing a soul from up to down. And so the truth is that everything in the world that we're trying to bring, everything in the world we're trying to actualize, is actually an expression of the fact that there's something up there that we're trying to bring down, and that's expressed in rain as well. Okay. Now it does not mean that the rain is in the clouds, and we're trying to get from the clouds into the right. Because we're obviously talking about even when there's no clouds. Okay, when there's no clouds, and we want to get that there should be clouds, and then once there's clouds, once there's clouds, we're already in good shape, right? The problem is that if the past 4 months there hasn't been clouds, right? Then we start to get worried. So, but even then, so the truth is that there's this rain which is above, and trying to get it down into this world. Okay. That rain is a certain manifestation of something higher that it needs to take on a certain physical property, a certain physical expression, and that's how it comes down. Okay, and this is an idea that I've shared on numerous occasions, that the reason why we talk about rain as being the thing that if you follow the Torah, then Hashem is going to give you rain, is because really rain is symbolic of the heavens raining down onto the earth, meaning that the connection between heaven and earth is expressed by rain. That when we're saying we want rain, what we're saying is we want the spirituality to not stay up there, to be distant, to be detached, that we want it to be felt down here. Okay? So now, what he's saying is that it's not just we want to feel it down here, that, oh my gosh, I'm really feeling Hashem. We want to feel it in the watermelon. We want to feel it in the Mexican flavored potato chips. We want to like feel Hashem's presence in everything that we do. Okay, that there should be that it shouldn't just be that, and this is really like this is the introduction to the difference between Amunah and Bitachon. That Amunah is that like I have a really difficult life, but I'm okay because I have Hashem. Okay, and Bitachon is that if I have Hashem, so then everything's actually going to be awesome. Okay, and then and that like I would never tell this to a person, but the idea of bitachon is that if everything's backwards, so maybe, just maybe, the reason why everything is backwards is because you don't have enough trust in Hashem. Okay, and you know what you need to do? You know what's the missing screw that's going to make everything fall into place? If you trust in Hashem, so then everything's going to work out. Okay, so that obviously, I'm not saying that you can that on any particular situation that the person hasn't gotten a job, so he said, "Oh, you know your problem. You don't believe in Hashem." That's not like we're not talking about that. But it is relevant. It is relevant that to know that there is such a thing. That there is such a thing. You know, when I teach Derech Hashem, so Derech Hashem is full of different ways of Hanagat Hashem, different ways through which Hashem relates to the world, and so sometimes he explains that sometimes the Hashem will send difficult times to a person as a punishment for something, and sometimes even if it's not a punishment, sometimes he'll send difficult times as a way to wake him up, as a way to like remind him that he needs to get his act together, and sometimes it's because of reincarnations, because of previous lifetimes. And there's a whole slew of possibilities that why could something bad happen to you, but we'll never know on any particular situation why is this actually happening. Meaning, the reason why we learn this is because a to understand that everything has an explanation, even though if we're not going to know what is actually the explanation, and also because it's always good to know deep down. It's always good to know that maybe I should like get stronger. Maybe there is something that I could improve on, and you never know. Even that you have to take like when it comes to difficult times. So like you have to be careful not to fall into the trap of beating yourself up and blaming yourself. And like I remember I had a student once that convinced herself that the reason why she got divorced is because she wasn't careful about a certain halacha, you have to be careful not to fall into this trap of like guilting yourself and beating yourself up, and to make sure it's in a positive way. But the fact is that there is a reality called bitachon, that there is a reality that sometimes sometimes a person just was destined to be poor. Sometimes a person was just destined to things aren't going to work out, and whatever the thing is that's not supposed to work out. But sometimes there's this idea, just like tefillah. Like tefillah is always important, right? But tefillah doesn't always work. Okay, he's going to talk about the fact that tefillah actually does always work. But sometimes there is something that was just not meant to be, right? So once again, the preview, the introduction to this whole concept of bitachon is that a person that something's bad is happening to them or is not getting what they need, so it's never appropriate to say, oh, you know why? Because you don't have enough bitachon. I told you so. But it's always a good it's a good opportunity to remind ourselves that we should actually have more bitachon. Okay. Okay. So the idea of bitachon is that sometimes that the more that we're trusting Hashem, the more shefa is going to come down. Okay, so it explains like this. That this everything so far is the Shalom already. Yeah. Okay, so he says that in this thing, he's explaining that what childbirth and rain, and he's really saying that this is really a metaphor for everything coming down into the world. So it's an example of Yiridat Shefa. Okay, Shefa means bounty, means blessing. That the Shefa is coming down. Okay, so how do we bring Shefa down? So he says that the way that Hashem brought Shefa down into the world, the way Hashem created the world, is with something called tzimtzumim. What is tzimtzumim? Tzimtzum, it's a Kabbalistic term called tzimtzum, called contractions. So what does that mean? That the way that Hashem made a physical reality is that he contracted himself. He made that there should be this small prism through which his infinite light is going to go, and it's through this prism that it's actually able to be a little bit less infinite, a little bit more physical. Okay, and that's how through millions and millions, countless amounts of tzimtzumim, that's how it developed from being an infinite God until a physical reality. Okay, until this olam hagashmi. Okay, so it's like the millions and millions of transformations. So all of the transformation, all of the way that the tzimtzum got, that the shefa got from the highest places to the lowest places, is through an infinite series of tzimtzumim. So now, tzimtzumim, contractions, is by definition an expression of dinim, of boundaries, of rules, of judgment. Okay, that whenever we're confining something, so we're giving it a space that this is where this is the only place that you can go, and you can't go everywhere else. So by confining it, that is the energy of judgment. That's the energy of dinim. Right? So whenever there's dinim, whenever there's boundaries, that this is where you can go and this is where you can't go, so then there's always the idea of kitruk. Kitruk means that there's like this midat hadin, the energy, the characteristic of judgment is also to say, hold on a second, but what if you don't fit into the criteria? Then the shefa can't come down. Okay, so whenever there's judgment, whenever there's a box, so then you have to fit into the box. If you don't fit into the box, then you're not. So whenever there's tzimtzumim, so part and parcel of the tzimtzumim is that there's the possibility of that maybe not. Maybe the shefa is not going to come down, right? Because it's part and parcel of having these confinements, having these tzimtzumim. So this is the general way that shefa comes down. Okay, through these tzimtzumim, that's the way Hashem created the world, and that's the way whenever something is going to go from the higher place to the lower place, it's by definition going to go with tzimtzumim, and that's how it explains. That's why it says in the Mishnah, and we say this. Some people say this Friday night, that the Mishnah says in Baba Malikin, al shalosh averos nashim mesos b'shas leidasim, that there's 3 sins for which that women can sometimes be punished to die during childbirth. Okay, sometimes a woman will die during childbirth, and so the Mishnah says that this is sometimes because they're being punished for not being careful about certain things. So why is that? So he says because childbirth is an expression of bringing shefa down, and the general way of bringing shefa down is through tzimtzumim, is through these contractions, and so whenever there's contraction, there's also dinim. There's also kitrugim, so that's why it's a dangerous time. That's why it's a time that you need zchuyot. You need that it's possible. It's like we all know that it's giving birth is a very dangerous thing. It's life endangering. That's why we freely break Shabbos for anybody who's giving birth, and for women who are giving birth. Too liberal, right? So, so, so the reason why. So the reason why that there's this sakana, the reason why there's a danger when in childbirth, meaning like that the reason why, like obviously I don't mean to say that it's not the physical things. Obviously giving birth is physically a dangerous thing. But the reason why Hashem created this reality, like how come that when we eat it's not dangerous, and when we give birth it is dangerous? Like why did Hashem make this reality that giving birth? But I wouldn't call it dangerous, unless you're like too engrossed in the share. Then you can, so be careful. Don't pay too much attention to me. So, but Hashem could have made a reality that giving birth is like using the restroom. Like it's not a big deal, right? I know somebody that gave birth in the toilet, so yeah. So she thought she was just constipated. So the doctor said, no, I'm coming in. So Hashem could have made a reality that it's not dangerous. Why did Hashem make that this reality is that it's actually dangerous? Because by definition it's a time of tzimtzumim, so it's a time of dinim. Okay? Like that's why Hashem orchestrated the reality that giving birth is something which is dangerous, because it's something which carries with it these dinim. Okay? And the truth is that rain also has dangers to it. You know, it's easier to slip. It's easier to have accidents. You can have hurricanes. You can have destruction through rain, and like there's more destruction that comes through rain than comes through sun, I would say. And so rain coming down is because the reason why Hashem made it that there's more destruction when it comes to rain is because rain coming down is this expression of Yeridas Shefa, which includes in it the dinim, which has this constrictions, which has this kitrukim, and this has this judgment. Yeah.
So does that mean winter is like a more like a time of din?
Oh, for sure, absolutely. Winter is absolutely a time of din, and that's why it's so dark and so gray, and that's why summer is a time of flourishing. It's a time of everything's green, everything's beautiful, and everything is just like going to the beach, and that's why all the holidays are in the summer, and during the winter there's no holidays. It's a time of spiritual darkness. It's a time that's like from Sukkot to Pesach.
So why is rain so positive?
Mm-hmm.
So why is rain so positive?
Why is rain positive? It's positive because it's giving us life. The way that Hashem is giving us life is through dinim. So. Okay.
Which we want. Like that's what's so interesting. It's like we're praying for rain, which is really
we want it. It's better than the alternative. The alternative is not to have rain, which is to die. So, but because but the only way to have the din, the only way to have the rain is to have the din. So that's why it's a necessary. Same thing with giving birth, right?
Just hope you were in best behavior.
Sorry?
You just hope that you were in best behavior until now.
I don't understand.
For what? For the rain, for the dinim to like.
We need the dinner. We need the rain, just like we need babies. So like the fact that yeah, if you don't know that you need it, so now you know. So yeah, so that's why you need reminding. when it's yours, they're cuter, right? So when this rain is coming, so it brings us life. However, it comes with this danger, with this kitruk. Okay, and that's why there's sometimes that you have people that die during childbirth. Okay, so. Yes. Says that if they're not careful on nida, and challah and Shabbos candles. Okay. So now. So he says that's why it says that that Gadol Yom Kshamim Kiyam Shenitna B'Torah. That's why Chazal say that the day, this is maybe what you meant, that it's a great thing when rain comes down. So Chazal say that it's great like the day that we got the Torah. Why is it great like this? Great like the day we got the Torah, because when we got the Torah, it was also an amazing Yerita Shefa, and that's why when we got the Torah, there was an amazing amount of din, because Chazal tell us that when Hashem was ready to give us the Torah, so the angels, they complained to Hashem that, hey Hashem, what the heck? Why? Who are these humanoids? Like, we're much holier. You should give it to us. Why should you share your holy Torah with these lowly earthlings? And Moshe had to explain to them like why we deserve it. But like it was not so clear. It was not like there was that because Hashem was bringing down something amazing. So built into the fact that Hashem is bringing down something amazing, so is built in that there's going to be din. There's going to be controversy. There's going to be antagonism. There's going to be something that you're going to have to overcome. Okay? And this is in the world of Yeridas Shefa. Okay, so now he explains that there's a way to, when there's dinim. So how do we deal with dinim? So there's a concept in Kabbalah of called hamtakat hadinim, to sweeten the dinim. Okay, what does it mean to sweeten the dinim? So you can have judgment, but there's different ways of having judgment. You can have a difficult judgment, a harsh judgment, and you can have a more compassionate judgment. So hamtakas hadinim, to sweeten the judgment, is to make it that the judgment is a little bit more compassionate. Okay. Many people that sometimes ask me, so just this Friday night, somebody asked me that why do I put drops of water into the wine Friday night in the Kiddush cup? So this is a Kabbalistic idea that the wine is red. Red represents dinim, and the water represents chesed, represents compassion. So putting transparent water into the red of the wine is hamtakas hadinim. Okay, and it's reminiscent of like back in the day that they would actually need to water down the wine in order to make it enjoyable. That the wine they would have was too strong to be drinkable, and that without water, it was watering it down that made it that there was a good taste, there was a good amount of alcohol, a good amount of strength, and so so then it was really visible in the physical realm. That it was the water that makes this din that really like to have that kind of water was like drinking like 98% alcohol, and like you need the water, you need the cola, whatever, the juice to make it that you could enjoy it. Like so, it's the hamtakas adinim that makes that you're actually able to enjoy what you wanted to enjoy from it. Okay, so tefillah works in the sense of hamtakas dinim. So there's sometimes when a person is davening, so the prayers, one of the things the prayers accomplish is that the prayers accomplish hamtakas dinim, meaning that something is supposed to come down. Something is supposed to come down, and the way it's going to come down is through this series of trikolos, this series of tzimtzumim, this series of contractions, and every contraction, so then there's this judgment that, hey, but do you fit the mold? That do you fit this new contraction? That are you in the, whenever there's a mold here, so then there's people over here that are not going to fit, that's not going to get to them, right? So are you in the in or you're in the out? So what does tefillah do? Tefillah is hamtakas dinim, so tefillah allows that there should be an expansion of the vessels. Okay? So tefillah can make it that even if you would have been on the out, that tefillah can put you in. It's not erasing the judgment. It's not erasing the judgment. What it's doing is it's expanding. It's expanding the vessels. Okay? That's called hamtakas adinim. So, and this is how he explains that the way that tefillah works is always hamtakas dinim. It's always like helping to bring it down, helping to expand where it comes down. And that's how he explains one of the reasons why you should never give up. If you daven and your prayers aren't answered, so there's actually no such thing as a prayer that's unanswered. He explains that sometimes that in order to get from up there to down here, so there's 50 different steps that it needs to get, and each one is a tzimtzum. Each one has this kitru, and so your tefillah helped it to get from level 50 to level 49, and now you're one step closer, right? Like the girls like to say about shidduchim, that like every boy that doesn't work out, so I'm one step closer to my Parshat. So this is I don't know where that comes from, but this is but it's similar to this, right? That it's one step closer. That every prayer actually works. Every prayer actually has a positive effect, and it brings it one step closer, because they actually have takasadim. It could be that you didn't actually see it in the physical realm because it still has a couple of ways to go, but it did accomplish. It brought it one step closer. Okay, so this is how tefillah. So this is how tefillah is part of the hamshacha, of the bringing down the shefa into the world. Okay, but now that Chernobyl says that this is all fine and dandy when it comes to the regular way of shefa, and however, it's important to know that there's a different way to bring down. There's a different way to bring down shefa, and he brings the famous Gemara. It says, "Ein habracha mitzuya, ela b'davar hasamoy min ha'ayin." Okay, that the bracha can only be found on something which is hidden from the eye. Okay, what does this mean? Right, it's from the Gemara and Brachas, and it's based on the pasuk in Parshas Kisava. It's a Gemara in Tainis Davches. So it says that there's only bracha on things which are hidden. Okay, so it says, and that's why it says hanichnas laman esgarnai amar yihirasu tislach bracha b'kriya zeh madav v'chakal birach v'chulei en bracha mitzuya lo b'davar madav. So it says that if you walk in, if you're taking account, if you want to take an account of how much you have, okay, you're taking what it's called at the end of a year or something, at the end of a day, in a warehouse, you want to take a inventory. So if you're walking in to take inventory, so then you can say, Hashem, please send bracha in my warehouse. But once you already counted, so then it's too late. Okay, because before you counted, so then it wasn't yet counted. So then the bracha can still come down. But once you counted, so then it is what it is.
Counted what? Like,
how much you have.
like in general?
Once you counted your money, before you count your money, if you don't know how much money you have, so then you can say, Hashem, give me a bracha. And then you can just count and you'll have a lot, because the bracha can still come down. But once you already counted, so then it's too late. It is what it is. Okay? So this is, by the way, there's an idea that when it comes to medical things, that before you know something, so it's easier, before there is knowledge of something being wrong, so it's easier to change the gzera. It's easier to turn around the decree before anybody knows. Because once somebody knows, so it is what it is. Then it's already davar hamadut. Right? Then it's like, after you counted your money, so then Hashem is not going to turn what you counted a minute ago was $200, so it's not going to just magically tomorrow morning it's going to turn into $300, right? But if nobody knew, so then Hashem has no problem that this pile was, it'll be bigger than you thought, okay? And so a similar thing with anything, that if nobody knows, so then it's free game. Like Hashem can just send bracha freely because he's not going against this mididah, the fact that it was already measured. Okay? Once something was measured, so then it entered the world of the of this consciousness, and then it's much harder. Then it's already dealing with tzimtzumim, that's already dealing with dinim, dealing with ketrugim. Then it would be considered just a miracle. Okay, and says you can't daven for a miracle. But if it's something that nobody knows, then it's not a miracle. Okay.
What if only a few people?
I think if anybody knows, then it's already called madud. I don't think that. I think that's just being. If the doctor already knows and you're just telling him, just don't tell me because I want to daven, I think you're just blinding yourself. I don't think that has any meaning. But if nobody knows, if you're the person that's taking inventory and you don't know how much it is, so then before you take account, so then there's the possibility of it just growing. There's a bracha coming down. Okay, so that, and this is the bracha can come down on something which is not measured, not counted. So he explains like this, that in anything that we do, in any act that we're going to be involved in with the purpose of trying to give us livelihood, trying to give us parnasa. So there's two mentalities. There's a person that can focus on the thing they're doing. They focus on the siba. They focus on the cause and effect of how I got my check. Okay, so they can say that I have a job and I'm working very hard, and so the reason why I got a lot of money is because I worked very hard. Okay, the reason why that's one mentality. Okay, that's one way of looking at life, and the other way of looking at life is to not look at the siba, but to look at something higher than that. That to say that whatever I'm getting is really from Hashem, and that the reason why I have a lot of money at the end of the month is not because I worked so hard, it's not because of my job, it's because Hashem wanted me to have a lot of money. Okay, and if Hashem wouldn't have wanted me to have a lot of money, so then He wouldn't have gotten me this job. And the understanding that the reason why I have the job is not because I'm so talented, it's not because I have good connections, it's because Hashem wanted me to have the job. And if Hashem wouldn't want me to have a job, then all my connections wouldn't help, all my talents wouldn't help, and it could be that somebody that's less talented, less connected is going to get my job instead of me, and everything is in Hashem's hands. Okay? So when it comes to getting livelihood, so a person that makes money, a person that has this income, so there's two ways to look at it. Okay? So what's the difference between the two ways? So if you're looking at the thing that you're actually doing, if you're looking at my job, so the job is the thing which is revealed. Your job is the thing which is present, which is obvious. And so if you're focusing on the thing which is revealed, which is present, so then there's no bracha, because the thing which is present is tzimtzum. Whereas if you think about the thing which is samim min ha'ayin, what's the samim min ha'ayin? What's the thing which is concealed? That everything is Ratzon Hashem. Everything is that whatever Hashem wants me to get, that's what I'm going to get. So if my focus as I'm working is on the fact that Hashem wants me to have money, so I'm focusing on something which is samim min ha'ayin, which is something which is concealed. So if my focus when I'm working for my parnasa, so there's two ways of working for my parnasa. There's working with parnasa with a mentality of tzimtzum, which is a mentality of something which is counted, right? Because my job pays me like 35 shekel an hour, 50 shekel an hour. Like there's a certain tzimtzum, and if I'm focusing on my job, so then there's a certain tzimtzum. But if I'm focusing on what's samim min ha'ayin, if I'm focusing on the source, so because the source is concealed, the source is hidden, so then I'm focusing on something, I'm working with the mentality of something which is boundless. Okay, so that's why the more that I'm working with the mentality that it's my employer which is giving me a parnasa, so then I'm stuck in this, like I'm not going to make more. I'm never going to get a raise. I'm never going to get get advancements, get promotions, because I'm dealing with the world of tzimtzum. Whereas if I'm going to go in the world of samim in in the world of looking at the source, which is concealed, to focus on the fact that I don't really think that the reason I'm getting money is because of the work. I really think that the reason I'm getting money is because Hashem wills, and because He wills. That's why He got me this job, and that's why He gave me the talent, and that's why everything's working out. But really, it's not because of that. Really, it's just because Hashem is willing it. So then, there's bracha in that. Then it's not bound to the rules of regular employment. So this is like a new take on economics. Okay, like if you study economics in university, so then they're only telling you half of the story. Okay, because all of that is true. All of those rules are true for the world of tzimtzum, for the world of people, which the university is certainly there. So they're consistent. That they certainly think that if you work, then you will get a job, and if you don't work, then you won't get a job. And when you ask them, but what about this guy, and what about this guy, and what about all these YouTubers, and what about all these CEOs that never went to school? I don't know, that's crazy. I don't understand that. But that is the world of samim and ayin. That is the people. That is what they have no connection to. That there's also a place that you can just connect yourself to something which is higher than the world of cause and effect, and over there the rules don't affect. Over there the rules, the regular rules of economics don't play a role. So this is why a person that is focusing, that is concentrating on the fact that everything is from Hashem. So not only can he get more money, is he opening himself up for bracha? Is he opening himself for the fact that just like money is just going to come his way? Okay, this is reminds me of like there's it's similar to like this idea that they have in it's sort of like law of attraction kind of thing, that I forget exactly what they call it, but it's abundance mentality. That if you want to be rich, so start believing that you should be rich, and like the more that you that you have a mentality of being poor, so you're going to stay poor, and the more that you have a mentality of abundance, so then you're just going to attract abundance. So we don't believe in that. We don't believe that if you think that you're supposed to be rich, then you're going to be rich. We call that schizophrenia. I mean, but like no, I don't mean that. I mean everybody should be rich. Like that we should all have tons. And I told you, Hasidus believes that we should all be like mamish, have so much money that we don't have to think about financial decisions. There shouldn't be. We shouldn't have to go to the store to buy a car and say, do I have enough money for the Rolls Royce, or should I just go for a Chevrolet? Like, there shouldn't be. What if you like the Chevrolet? So get the Chevrolet. Just kidding. So, I mean, I happen to not like Rolls Royce, but I'm sure. What do I care? I don't drive. So, so that everybody should be rich, but it doesn't really depend on if you believe you should be rich. It really depends on that where do you think your abundance is coming from? If you think your abundance is coming from the siba, if you think your abundance is coming from the job, so then you're stuck to the world of tzimtzum. You're stuck to the world of just the regular shtalshalos, and over there there's kitruk, and over there there's constantly that spiritually there's constantly asking you, are you worthy? Do you deserve to be here? Whereas if you're focusing on the davar samay min ha'ayin, so then if you're focusing on the source, if you're focusing on the fact that everything is from Hashem, so then you skip all that. Okay, so then you become automatically worthy. Okay, so he, and this is how he explains. Two more short points that he says that he brings from the Sefer Todas Yaakov Yosef from the student of the Baal Shem, that the pasuk says that arach yamim bimina bismela arsha v'chavat. It says about Torah that on its right side is long life, and its left side is honor and wealth. Okay, so the Gemara asks that what do you mean on its right side there's only long life, there's not wealth, there's not wealth and honor? Like Torah, if you want wealth and honor, you have to go to the left side. Like left side is the bad side. So it means that no kol sheken, that if on the right side, so it's on the right side, so it's long life, and certainly, and like all the more so, on the right side is honor and wealth, and the left side there's only honor and wealth. Okay, so he explains that Yaakov Yosef explains that the right side, that means the people that have a true Torah mentality. The people who are going to the right side of the Torah means that they really get it. Okay, they really get it. What does that mean? That they're in touch with the source. They're in touch with the fact that Hashem is in charge of everything. So if you're in charge, if you're just putting your bitachon in Hashem, you're putting your trust in Hashem. So you're going to get long life, and of course you're going to get honor and wealth, but it's not spoken about. Okay, it's the honor and wealth that you're getting is something which is not written down, because writing something down is making it a tzimtzum. Okay, whereas the left side, the people who are not, they follow Torah, but they aren't so elevated, they aren't so in the mindset that everything is from Hashem. So for them, they're going to get what they need, but it's going to be written down. They're going to get parnasa, but it's going to be written down. If it's written down, so then it's betzimtzum. If it's written down, so then it's going to be with dinim. It's going to be with confinements, with tzimtzumim. So that's why they're worse off. Okay, and the last point that he says is something that he brings from a bzusha from Anapoli. So that he writes on pasuk that ubachanuni lam bizois im lo yaftach lechem arbos hashemayim v'harikos lehem bracha ad bli dai. That it talks about tzedakah. That the Torah says about giving tzedakah. That Hashem says that test me out with giving tzedakah. That you can see if I'll be true to my word. That I say that if you give tzedakah that you won't lose. So test me out, and you'll see that I'm going to give you bracha ad belidai. I'm going to give you so much bracha that without that ad belidai. So he says, what does it mean ad belidai? So dai means tzimtzum. Right? When you say die. If you ever, I remember the first time I heard this, I thought it was disgusting. That a mother was a young girl was bothering her mother, and she said die, and it means enough. It means enough. It does not mean you should stop it. But die means that means enough. Okay, and it comes from the original source of the word die is one of the names of Hashem is Shakai, Shin Daled Yud. Okay, this is the name that we write on the mezuzah. Okay, on every mezuzah, so it says Shakai on the outside of the mezuzah. So what's the name of Shakai? She Amar La'olamot Dai. That Hashem, when He was creating the world, He told the world die. He told the world enough. Meaning that when He created the world, it was expanding, and it was expanding so much that He needed to say, okay, that's how much you should expand. Now you should stop expanding. Okay. So the word Shakai is an expression of the fact that Hashem is the God that says tzimtzum, that He makes boundaries. So what's it mean bracha ad belidai? Hashem says that if you test me out, if you give tzedakah freely, so then I'll give you bracha belidai. Okay, what does that mean? What does it mean a person that gives tzedakah freely? A person that doesn't consider his money his own. A person that just that says Hashem, whatever you gave me, I know that it's yours. It's yours. So if you treat your money as your own, so then you're getting dinim on yourself. You're getting tzimtzumim. Then you're saying that like, okay, if it's mine, so then like I can't give so much, I can't afford so much. But if you're saying, Hashem, whatever you need, I'm giving whatever. It's all yours. So then Hashem says, if you trusted me with your money, then I'll give you. Then you're looking at the source. You're not looking at the source of your income from your job. You're looking at me as the source of your income. So you're trusting me that like if I need your money, so then you'll give me money. So that if you trust me, so then you're looking at the davar hasamim min ayin. So then I'm going to give you bracha ablidai. I'm going to give you bracha without any tzimtzumim. It's not going to have to go with this regular trickling down, with the regular paths of making livelihood. Okay, so this is the Torah. This is the Torah bitachon, and the Torah bitachon is really saying that the more that we trust in Hashem, so we're actually going to have more money. Okay, we're actually this is like I was saying before, that this is not the same thing as emunah is. Emunah is that if you the trust that Hashem knows what He's doing, that okay, so Hashem wanted me to be poor. I can rejoice in being poor because Hashem wants me to be poor. And this is it's interesting that he brings this from Zusha, because Zusha was very, very poor. but it's not a contradiction, because sometimes tzaddikim have a certain hanhaga that the tzaddik actually needs to be very poor, but he is able to give the koach to the chasidim, that they're able to be very rich, and so that he's saying that the bitachon is that not that okay I can rejoice in being poor, that I trust that Hashem is going to give me riches. I'm trusting that Hashem is going to give me the perfect job, that I'm going to be a billionaire. Okay, and this is what bitachon really means. That to trust that Hashem can get me rich, I don't need to work hard, and to really check ourselves. To really check ourselves that do I really believe that everything is really coming from Hashem? Am I working too hard? Like so many people, that they really work too hard because they think that another 2 hours a day is going to get them more money, and they forget that like like I need to do what's normal, but another 2 hours is not going to change what Hashem wants to give me. It's not going to change my. I see people that they open the stores like very, very early in the morning, and I'm thinking to myself like do you really think that like you had to run from davening and do you really think that this is making a difference in your future? Like, do you really think that this is what's gonna get that you can get a bigger steak for Shabbos because you ran to open up your store at 7 in the morning? I don't mean at the supermarket that there's people that need you at 7 in the morning. I'm saying like things that there's so many areas of life that the decisions that we make clearly indicate that we think that the harder you work, the more money you're going to make, and that's really in a mentality of din. That's really in a mentality of tzimtzum, and the Chernobyl is challenging us to escape that, to really elevate ourselves to a mentality of the source of Eina bracha matzah ela b'davar samim min ayin, to know that it's not what's giving me my livelihood is not the work that I do. What's giving me livelihood is the fact that Hashem wants me to have a livelihood, and that's actually going to get me more money with less effort. Okay, it's going to get me that dream job. It's going to get me that dream shidduch. It's going to get me the dream everything. And like the more that I trust in Hashem, the more it's actually going to come. Okay, and so like I said before, this is not an excuse to give up. This is not an excuse to say that I don't have to work, but in the context of working, we find there's plenty of examples. There's plenty of opportunities that we can notice that hey, I'm working a little bit too hard to really think that it's from Hashem, and like we can sometimes check ourselves and realize that how much am I really focusing on the source, and how much am I really believing that it's because of the job, and this is the secret to richness. This is the secret to bounty. This is the secret to abundance. That as long as you're in the world of 9 to 5, as long as you're in the world of the following the rules of economics, so then you're never going to make it big. And the only way to escape that is to change the mentality. The only way to change the like you're going to survive. You're going to mismela osher v'kavod, that if you follow the rules of academics, you're not going to die, okay? But you're not going to have bracha. And the way to get bracha is that even whatever you're doing, to not forget that it's coming from a higher source, that it's all because of the Ratzon Hashem for it to come down. And this is how things can come out sweetly. This is how the way things can come down without. This is in a sense, this is how we're overpowering the curse of Adam Harishon, that Parnasa has to come from labor, has to come from suffering, has to come from sweat, and through bitachon we're able to escape that. We're able to get that like I'm skipping that because I'm getting it from the source, and then everything's going to come easy. B'ezrat Hashem. So we should mamish be able to really get there and really get very rich and have an easy time with having our needs met, and then we can put our focus on more important things in life and becoming better people, making the world into a better place. B'ezrat Hashem.